friends, and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Miss Nuccia, and I'm from the Winfield Public Library, and today we're making chapatis. Chapatis are very, very popular in Kenya, and it's a very, very simple unleavened bread to make, but the trick is kneading. But this is where the kids can have fun. It takes 10 to 15 minutes. And in Kenya, I realized when I was researching Kenya, there's not a lot of desserts. It's basically fruits and vegetables, lots of beans and stews, and they even have corn for breakfast. But I thought it would be fun for us to do chapatis. I tried them already, and they are delicious. I had them for breakfast, I must admit. They're very good. So, like I said, the trick is that we knead. So let's begin. So here I have 3 cups of flour already measured out, and I'm gonna put it in my bowl. Three tablespoons of oil and 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna sprinkle it in, give it a little stir, drizzle my 3 tablespoons of oil, and I just used all-purpose oil, vegetable oil. That's what I had in the house. And I'm just gonna give it a little stir. And now, a little bit at a time, I'm going to add 1.25 cups of warm water, just lukewarm. They serve this with lots of beans and stews, and when I was doing research on Kenya, the children learn English in school, and they walk miles and miles to get to school. Their breakfast is usually very early, between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and they eat cornmeal dishes, and they're not very big on desserts like we are here, and donuts. They have chai in the morning too, and that is from the influence from Britain. So just do a little bit at a time. It feels a little heavy, but the big trick will be the kneading and then letting it rest. So a little bit more. But I couldn't believe how amazingly wonderful these were. It's an unleavened bread, very, very popular in Kenya and the surrounding areas. And this will go very nicely with my next video that I'm going to do. I'm going to make a red bean soup. Boys and girls, can you think of anybody famous whose father comes from Kenya? I'll give you a hint. One of our presidents, his father came from Kenya and went to study in the United States. Okay. It still feels a little bit dry, but I think now I'm going to get a knife and just knead it a little bit more. You can use a little flour to knead. throw a little bit of flour on my table. Move these dishes out of the way. And now, 10 to 15 minutes. This is where the kids can help. And mom and dad could go do something else. And it's fun. Just knead. Don't over put flour. Don't put too much or it'll get tough. And when I did them the first time, I made 10 of them. And they were rather, because you're supposed to do them pretty thin. My pan was not big enough. So today I'm going to cut at least 12 out of this. You can, after you make them, in the morning, you can add some scrambled eggs and roll it and eat it like that. But I'm sure you don't want to watch me do it for 15 minutes, so I'm going to put it on quick. But you can see it's already getting better. Just a little bit more. It's already changing. Oh, it's okay. Well, it's almost been 15 minutes that I've been kneading. And you don't, nothing special, just push down and keep working it. You could use a mixer, but this is good exercise and the kids will appreciate it. And I like it. Okay, so this is, I said it's about, look at that. You see, when you push down, feels good. Then I'm just going to sprinkle just a drop of oil in my pan. I'm going to use the same one, just a drop. Just a little bit so it doesn't stick. Just use my hands. Put it in. Cover it with plastic wrap and give it about 20 to 30 minutes. So let me cover it with plastic wrap. Well, it's rested a good 30 minutes. And look at it. It hasn't really changed, but it'll be much better to work with. I'm going to just sprinkle some flour. Remember, I put a drop of oil. This way it didn't stick. And now I'm just going to flatten it a little bit. Put a little drop of flour. Just flatten it a little bit. And I think I'm going to cut it in half. This is the fun part. Kids can do the rolling here. I'm gonna roll this. And the last time I told you when I did it, one of my problems was that they were big. So let's see. I want to do 6 on each one. I want to do 12 or maybe even smaller. Okay, that's 8. So now, take a little bit of flour. I'm going to put them in a dish like this and just sprinkle some flour in it. And as I roll them, so take one, make it into a circle. And roll it. It'll look like a tortilla shell. The reason we're gonna do this is because you could now fry them, but they won't be flaky. Don't over put flour. Okay. You want them like 1/8 of an inch. I think this looks good. You're going to take a little bit of oil and just brush a bit of oil. Now sometimes you can go ahead and just fry them up now. We're going to roll these up. Okay. Roll them up. And then put your finger in, and just like a coil. One down. And now these are going to rest another 15 minutes at least. So make it into a little circle so it's easier to start. Sprinkle just a little bit of flour. Make it into a, like I said, the first time I made them so big they didn't fit nicely in my pan. I wasn't happy. Sure. And then take your brush. Just brush a little bit of oil. It won't dry them out. You don't want them dry. And because we form these beautiful little coils, they're going to be so flaky. Just roll like a rug, pull a little bit, and then put your finger in and just continue with the coil and then tuck it in. Done. Okay, let's do another one and then I will just a little bit, not a lot. A little bit of oil. Okay. And let me roll it. You could skip this step, but they won't be as flaky. Okay, I'll be back when they're all done. Perfect little coil, and now here I have 12 ready. So 12 ready to go, but now we're gonna let them rest 15 minutes. So I'm gonna cover them and come back in 15 minutes. So they've rested 15 minutes and I think it's time to roll them out now. So let's begin. Just put a little sprinkle of flour, not very much, on your work surface. Take one, pat it. See, it's a perfect little circle, and roll. And keep turning your chapati around. You want it a nice circle. And you want it basically 1/8 of an inch thick. Coiling it really does help. You get that nice little circle. Make sure you work the edges. And look, so pretty. And another thing to remember is it has to fit in your pan. And I think this one's nice. I'm gonna get a dish to put it on. Okay, first one. 11 more to go. Let's do another one and then pat it down. Just put a drop of flour, pat it. And then just roll your rolling pin and keep going in a circular motion. I think the kids will like doing this part. And honestly, they taste so good. This is good with our Kenyan red bean dish that we're going to be doing next. This is nice in the morning with eggs or just alone as a snack after school. Now, you could have fried them earlier, but you wouldn't get the flakiness, and you'll see that the flakiness really makes a difference. Beautiful. Number 2 done. And now, so I turned my burner on, and you want it at least medium high. When I did the first one, it wasn't hot enough, and you need it to get nice and hot. I think it's almost there. I did not add any oil to it. It's just a nice heavy-duty Teflon pan. And now I've got my chapati ready. And I think I'm going to put the first one in. Now you only need, I think it should be ready. Yes. And just go ahead and brush it with oil. We're not frying it, it's just brushing a little bit, and you want to see nice bubbles on it. So we're gonna do about a minute per side. It depends on how dark you want it. I actually like a little darkness on mine. Probably wasn't as hot as it should have been, but the next one will be perfectly hot. It's starting to bubble. Can you see? Starting. Perfect. Okay. Bubbles are starting. I'm going to turn it over to the other side and brush it too. And do use a good brush. The other ones were really bad, and I forgot about them. And they're starting to get little bubbles. Those little bubbles tell you that they're going to be flaky. They're separating. It's separating. Oh, look at that. See the bubbles there? Oh, it's happening. It's so good. Then I'm going to make my Kenyan beans next. It's bubbling in the center. That's what we want. That's what the coiling does. Look at that. This reminds me of something my mom would do when we were kids. But she used to put yeast in hers. This one has no yeast. Look how it's bubbling. And this is going to take about 25 minutes to do them all. So I'm not going to bore you through all of them, but at least a couple. Starting to get pretty. So in Kenya, there's a lot of influence from other countries. And you can tell by their spices, by their food, by their dishes. And there's not a lot of sweets. I wanted to do a sweet, but all I found were deep dyed like donut holes. And I don't like frying too much. But if you're interested, you should go to our A to Z website on our resources, and it's recipes from all over the world. So much fun, especially if you want to do something for school too. Just a little bit more. Okay. I think we're ready for another one. I'm increasing the flame. Should be a little higher, because it should go faster than this. Okay. Next one. When I did the first time, the chapatis were bigger than my pan. I think I'm going to put a little less oil this time. Just lightly brush. I don't like a lot of oil. Okay. Starting to bubble. Last one on the stove. Watch how it bubbles. See how it's bubbling? Turn it over. And it's almost done. And I think it's done now. You can leave it 10 seconds more, but that's it. That is it. I think I'm going to go to the table now. Well, out of 3 cups of flour, I was able to make 12 chapatis. And I want to tear one open. Look how flaky they are. You see, they're still warm. These will keep for about a week. Just put them in a Tupperware container or a Ziploc bag, wrap them in plastic. And these will be great for breakfast. They'll be good with my Kenyan red kidney, a dish that I'm going to be doing next. And I hope you try it. Well, we're done with our chapati bread. I hope you try it. Like I said, it's a little time consuming, but with kids, they can help do a lot of the work. And it's so nice to introduce a new dish from a different part of the world. Do try it. I hope you do. And now I'm going to get ready and I'm going to make my very special dish that I have a hard time pronouncing, maharagwe, which is basically Kenyan red beans with tomatoes and coconut milk. So I'm going to get that dish done so I can enjoy my chapati bread with it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and try it and let me know how it goes. Bye everyone.